Joining us now to talk more about that, he's the co-founder of Saved in America, Joseph Travers, back on the program. Joseph, it's been too long. It's nice to see you, sir. How are you?
Yes, Dan, way too long. Great to see you.
So first and foremost, let me just ask you, as a man who started a nonprofit to go rescue children that are trafficked in this country, when President Trump took office 31 days ago and you saw Tom Homan say, we're coming for you, and one of the biggest goals Tom Homan has said is to get those 400 and some plus thousand missing kids back and to put an end to sex trafficking of kids and labor trafficking, what were your thoughts?
You know, what President Trump has done is amazing because he has taken in what I call the solution to child sex trafficking in this country. And there's three parts to it. And President Trump already accomplished the first part, which is secure the border and make the cartels terrorist organizations. That's one third of the problem right there. And then the other 2/3 is one you know about well with us and Saved in America, is taking licensed, insured private investigators to be the boots on the ground to assist law enforcement across the country, because we can do it for less than half price and most of the time on a per diem rate, where law enforcement, they just don't have the resources to hire the people. So that's the second part. But the third part is what Secretary Rubio did with the president in El Salvador. And that is to talk about third country agreements to take our people here that we have to house in prisons, which would be cartel members, prison gang members, and street gang members, what I call the evil triad, and maybe contract prisons outside of this country, because we know who run the prisons here in this country, and that's the prison gangs. So if you've seen anything about how El Salvador runs their prisons, that's incredible. I saw something like this about a decade ago, and they were in Siberian prisons, and I thought to myself, you know what? If you take the leaders or the heads or members of this evil triad, you put them over in Siberia, I said, you're going to solve the problem or a big part of child sex trafficking.
Great point. I mean, look, I might get in trouble for this one, but who cares? I don't know why we even put them in prison and keep them alive. I mean, seriously, can't we do an international court, find them guilty of acts against humanity, and then just hang them in the public square like we used to? Like, seriously, why do we worry about putting scumbags who run these cartels, who have trafficked millions and millions of people over decades? We give them the opportunity to live their lives out, even in a hellhole like Siberia or El Salvador jail, where they don't treat them like we treat people, like, say, in California, where we get a college degree and 3 square meals and a pillow and a nice cot at our jails. No, they treat them like garbage, as they should be treated. But why even do that? Anyway, that's my thought. Let me get more into what you guys are doing, because I just like to keep this show real. And I think when you've done acts against humanity, living your lives out in prison is too damn good for you. I think a couple bullets to the head in the public square would send a message. But again, we're civilized now. We don't do that anymore, Joseph. Talk to folks about what Saved in America does, because again, it's been a while since we've had you on. I want to get out there and get embedded with you, because I have a feeling you're going to be picking up a lot more work lately now that the gloves are off in this country and you can go get those kids away from these cartels and scumbags.
Right. So what we do is basically we have volunteer former special operators, Navy SEALs, Marine Raiders, and former police officers, and we license and insure them as private investigators so we can assist parents and law enforcement in the recovery of missing and runaway children, which constitutes most of the child sex trafficking domestic here in this country.
Right.
And I was talking about this model needs to be taken across all 50 states. And my prayer right now is that President Trump, because President Trump, as you know, is in the future on everything. He's way out in front of everyone else. So I'm hoping he thinks, well, maybe appoint a czar for child sex trafficking to put these three parts together with the, contract prisons to get these guys out of the prisons, because the real evil thing, which you were talking about, these gang members and these prison gang members and these cartel members still operate.
While they're in. I know, they get messages out and they control stuff from their prison cell. It's insane that they could still do this. I think Tom Homan, as border czar, I don't know that you need a second czar for the trafficking, because you've heard his story. He repeats it all the time. I think it was back in 14 or 15 when he was working for Obama, because he's worked under 4 or 5 presidents, when he went down to that semi truck that they pulled over in Texas because he was working the border and stuff, and he saw all those bodies dead, and a bunch of them were little boys and girls, and they had stripped their clothes off because of the heat, and they had all died of suffocation and heat exhaustion in the back of this trailer. He never cries. He said, that day I cried, and ever since then, Tom, the pit bull Homan, has said, I'm going to make it my job to stop the trafficking of kids. And now that he's in charge, I mean, Joseph, I think you got your czar right there for trafficking. That's who you got to chat with.
Yeah, and I hope that he incorporates the licensed private investigator into the formula, because we know, I can tell you there is no police department or no sheriff's department currently across this country that looks for missing or runaway children. Unless there's 1 or 2 conditions, the child has to take medication so they don't die, or they have physical evidence of a physical abduction. So there's a big gap that needs to be filled for domestic trafficking.
Agreed.
And I know Homan is going to get rid of the over-the-border trafficking. But
Right.
we still have that problem with domestic trafficking.
The internal. I
That's
got
correct.
you. All right. If people want to donate, help out, because you're a nonprofit with all these former special operators bringing these kids home, how do they find more details on Saved in America, Joseph?
Go to savedinamerica.org, savedinamerica.org. And Dan, we just finished this. Remember when you spoke at our last function?
Sure.
We were just about ready to release a comic book, and here it is.
Right
So
on.
you
Saved
can
in
go
America.
online, savedinamerica.org, pull it down for free, and give it to the kids so they get a start on helping them with prevention.
Yeah. Making the kids aware. Exactly. So
Correct.
great. Joseph Travers, the work you do trying to bring kids home is wonderful. We love you for all the hard work. God bless you, brother. You take care. I'll see you soon.
Oh, thank you, Dan, and God bless you.
Yep.